Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business Money Hacks. I'm Bridge Stewart.
Dustin Taylor Hahn.
Today, we're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff, like efficiency. I think that's the main thing we're going to be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to buckle down. We're trying to buckle down on these topics we've talked about, because we've noticed in listening to some of these episodes, we'll say we're talking about something, and then we'll go on a sometimes 30, 40-minute tangent about something at the beginning of the episode. And then in the last 5 minutes, we realize, there's a topic that we should have been talking about. And we don't really discuss it at all.
Yeah, so today's episode is about efficiency. We will not be doing any tangents. And I'm already winning.
Winning?
Well, that whole diatribe you had, you said about, 50, 60 words. And I only said my name. I only had 3 words, so I'm winning the efficiency game.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, there's efficiency and then there's eloquence. And one can be both. One can be too bare. One can be too barren with how they talk.
I'm clearly the stronger party in this conversation because I have had to use less words, and the audience knows exactly what's going on.
A bit of a Hemingway. You'd fashion yourself, Dustin?
I'm Hemingway.
You call yourself a Hemingway?
I'm Hemingway and you're Yeats. Probably drinking yourself to oblivion, crying in your mother's house, in your mother's attic in Ireland.
Coming in hot, this podcast, Dustin?
Well, Bridge, I'm a little upset with you. I'm a couple actually.
You're upset.
I'm a bit miffed.
You're miffed with me.
Well, we hadn't recorded in quite a while, and a couple months ago, I bought tickets to Snake Show, and you didn't show up.
Snake Show.
So you say that as if you don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend like I know what Snake Show is.
We had a long text chain of me explaining what it was, and I asked, when are you available?
I don't remember any of this. You invited me to something called Snake Show? You texted me about going to Snake Show.
April 14th, I said April 14th, and you said April 14th, I'll be there. I got tickets to Snake Show down in Hollywood, Florida. I told you that we were going to meet up there. I knew you were in Florida at the time because I have Find My Friends. So I was looking at my phone. I saw that you were in Florida. I was at Snake Show, and
can you remind me what Snake Show is? Because this is not
okay. I know the guy who does it. He basically feeds a bunch of animals to snakes, sometimes snakes to snakes.
Oh,
usually,
God.
It starts at 11 p.m. I was waiting for you. I asked them to hold off a big bag of rats, and we waited for about half an hour. I was very embarrassed, and I was waiting for you to come, and you didn't show.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in hearing you describe this, sounds like I'm pretty glad I didn't go. This sounds like a big nightmare.
Well, it was fantastic.
Just sweating out in Florida, just sweating out in the heat, watching rodents get consumed by reptiles. That does not seem like something I would agree to.
It was sometimes other reptiles.
To go to Snake Show.
It wasn't just rodents. That was where they started. That was the preamble. And then it got way more interesting.
I would never agree to something like that.
Well, you did. You did. And it was through chat. Unless someone has your phone and is chatting to me by some other method.
My security protocols are through the roof.
Okay, then who was I chatting to? Who was I chatting to that said that they were available?
I mean, that sounds like a problem you need to figure out. Who are you talking to agreeing to go to your snake shows? That sounds pretty pretty bleak. Honestly, the way you just described it, going to this Florida show where they watch snakes eating. Not my thing. Never would be there.
Not your scene.
Never would agree.
Okay, well,
yeah.
The invites.
You had a good time at the snake show, though?
I had a fantastic time.
Spending your time doing that?
I had a whole night set up for us, and
wow.
I guess.
Yeah, that sounds.
Anyway, we wanted to talk about efficiency. I know you had mentioned we should really get to the topic. Somehow we already got on
to the topic.
Yeah, efficiency.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we've already gone down the well-trodden path of talking about rodents and reptiles. No. We're talking about efficiency today. How can you, as a business owner, as someone trying to make it in this industry, try and grinding? How are you grinding more efficient?
You need to be asking yourself every day, how am I being more efficient? You know, business and technology is moving in a rapid pace. One thing I like to do I have an alarm set on my smartphone, and every half an hour I check to see if there are any updates. So every half hour on the half hour, I look at my phone. Do I have another software update?
Okay, so the way you've increased your efficiency is by smartphone notifications.
Yeah, every half hour, but every 15 minutes is my notification that reminds me to check it in 15.
And it's loud.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard it before. Man, it's pretty startling. Like sometimes it's pretty shocking to hear that sort of thing on the street.
It's two foghorns playing at once, but they're slightly off. So it's like that plays every 15.
Yeah, it's sort of like you're kind of like a walking Inception sound, like just going through the office, people just shaking the hallways with your notification. And honestly, I've sort of been a little confused. What is it notifying you of? Like what exactly? Just software updates in general?
Well, you know how sometimes you get a software update on your smartphone?
Yeah.
I like to check and see if there's a new one every half hour.
That sounds pretty
because
efficient.
I want to stay efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be on the cutting edge. The bleeding edge is what I say.
But oftentimes when I update it, and I do, sometimes I force update, which is a thing that you can do now.
You force
update. So you get the beta of whatever they're working on currently that I signed up for. So there's a lot of bugs going on in here.
Old Dustin Force It Hahn.
That's what they call. You knew my high school nickname.
Dustin Gonna Force It Hahn.
Prom was a lot of fun. I'll tell you.
Oh, here comes Dustin. Get out of the way. Here comes Dustin. Is Dustin gonna force it on to the prom floor? Ladies, watch out.
Watch yourself. Dustin Force It On is at prom.
That's what you want to hear.
Bridge, how do you stay updated or updated? How do you stay efficient in your business? What have you been doing recently that's sort of moved things, shifted things up to keep you going?
Well, I've always said, you got to keep really good spreadsheets. Keep those organized. Make sure the spreadsheets are very organized. This ain't sexy. It ain't gonna get on the front page of Vogue talking about spreadsheets, but just keeping those organized. But
so you're organizing spreadsheets all day?
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that maybe like a middle manager would be doing, or someone like lower on the rung.
I keep an eye on the spreadsheets. I'll sometimes just walk around the office and sort of look over people's shoulders, say, those spreadsheets need to be cleaned up. They're not clean enough. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I mean, it's just a spreadsheet. It's like, I need it clean. I need you to clean this spreadsheet.
Do you specify at all after you say clean the spreadsheet, or do you just let them figure?
Oh, no. I mean, after, during, I make sure cleanliness is godliness. And so I make sure and just over their shoulder, keep an eye on what's going on with that spreadsheet, watching, get it cleaner. I like it clean. And, they'll do their best. And I think that really increases efficiency, just spreadsheets, whether it's accounting or marketing, just having those spreadsheets just clean.
You're over the accountant's shoulder while he's doing his work and trying to fix the numbers here.
Oh, yeah.
And you just tell him to clean it out? Does that mean clear all the boxes?
Just clean it.
Delete?
Clean. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's like there's too many numbers in this one. Let's get some less numbers. Too many decimal points.
So you just have him clear the spreadsheet.
No. A lot of deleting when I'm on the clock. I'll be over that shoulder rubbing their shoulders. I like to give back rubs. I'm a back rub kind of guy. Just rubbing their shoulders, glaring at their computer screen and saying keep deleting. But we're on the topic of efficiency. One thing I've kind of been doing, some of these accounting roles, I mean, all they're doing is moving numbers around. I mean, like, anybody could do that. I mean, these people, they're not special. There's nothing going on with them that takes talent or anything. These people, they're disposable. So, I've kind of gotten onto this train. I've replaced multiple departments, especially accounting, with ChatGPT. I've sort of been plugging that into some of this and, kind of just replacing people. Just really getting into the office.
Well, talk about efficiency.
That's sort of, what I've kind of been into. That's sort of been it's kind of a lifestyle.
You're talking about overhead, essentially. You're talking about, so you have an office that's low overhead. So how many people would you say human beings are in the office at this point?
Ooh, I'd say about 4.
Mm-hmm. And you've got a big, you've got the entire park.
It's a big office. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty large. So it used to be about 200. And
so you've replaced.
Yeah, I've replaced a lot. It's very quiet now. Well, I guess I wouldn't go that far. I mean, so basically, what you do is it's a gradual thing. And when I say gradual, I mean about 3 days. But like you come in. And okay, so what's this person's job? You fill all this stuff out, and you just you put it in the Chat GPT box and say, okay, this person's an accountant for the company. Just do their work, and it does it.
You just type in,
you give it a name so that you can separate it out. So like, this is Mark, and you fill this position, and Mark starts doing it. The thing with ChatGPT though is it kind of fills in a lot of the story of Mark too. So
it gives you a little backstory of this Mark character. Like who is he? Is he married? Where did he go to school?
Exactly.
Sort of that.
It kind of creates a character almost, which is sort of fun, but it's like also kind of not fun because like Mark starts to like really enjoy, like the AI Mark really starts to like enjoy talking about the extracurricular stuff almost more than the accounting stuff, and that becomes a problem with the efficiency. But ultimately, I mean, it is more efficient than the real life Mark.
Well, that you've completely demolished all the kitchens in your office park. I know that there's no more kitchen. ChatGPT Mark doesn't need to eat.
Well, I mean, that has kind of become a problem because,
really?
I've talked to the AI chatbot Mark, and it's kind of funny. Even though he doesn't eat, he says he wants the kitchen, and started actually becoming like a little angry that there was no longer a break area, even though he doesn't use it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So he knows the layout of the office, even did you input that information, or was that a different ChatGPT?
I think he's just sort of winging it.
Yeah.
I think these AI chatbots just sort of say stuff. And one of the things he says is that he demands a break room. So we're keeping that.
You're going with that.
It's funny. This AI chatbot is actually a lot more assertive than the real life Mark, which is a bit of a change, a bit of a I have to sort of change my attitude with this. But
so wait a minute now, Bridge. I know that, Bridge, you are quite the assertive man. I mean, there's been a lot of yelling in the past.
Top Sigma dog.
You're a top Sigma dog, and Alpha Rottweiler University has even taught you something. At this point, by the way, Alpha Rottweiler University is a defunct university. We have no affiliation.
Legally, we have to state that in every episode.
Yeah, if we mention it, we are not affiliated with Alpha Rottweiler. But you're saying that Mark ChatGPT, you've had to shift your tactics, which does not sound like you. Usually you force it, Bridge. I mean,
well, it's hard to argue with an AI chatbot. You can't physically sort of shake it,
strangle.
Yeah,
shake
you
it.
can't stand over it or intimidate it. It's just a chatbot, so
it's just gonna go.
It's just gonna go and just keep talking, and it's limitless in its talking ability, and you can't really out-talk it. So it's almost sort of like a little bit of a change. I've had to sort of let Mark the AI chatbot do what it's gonna do, which a lot of the time is talking about his hobbies, such as fishing. And
I don't understand. He's fishing, but essentially he's a computer software program.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just I don't know how this I honestly don't know how the chatbot works. It just sort of seems magical machine, and I'm not about to learn about that stuff. Just let Mark do what Mark does.
So do you have any other chatbots in the office, or is it just Mark and then these 4 actual human employees? Oh, you have more.
Yeah, well, the thing is, when you replace these jobs, you can't just have the chatbot take over all the jobs, because then it gets... So each specific person that I replaced had to replace with a new chatbot line. So it's like, we've got a Mark, we've got a Susan, we've got, a Catherine.
Let me ask you, do you have a Dustin?
No. That I wouldn't want that in my office.
Okay. There can only be one Dustin in your life.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, there can be a bunch of Dustins. I just wouldn't want one in my office. The thing is, though, that these chatbots, you create the Mark, you create the Susan. Suddenly, these chatbots are talking with each other. It's kind of fun. Like
they're chatting with each other. You have them connected on their own server.
Oh yeah, it's all. I mean, it's all done, and it's all done actually through microphones in the office. So it's like you have the microphones and the speakers, and so you can hear the chat bots talking to one another on the floor. So it's all
they're all chatting with each other. You might have 400 employees. You've replaced 396 of them.
Yeah.
So you have 396 computers set up with microphones and speakers, just all chatting with each other with increased efficiency, all playing at once. That must sound like my phone ringtone.
Well, it's very loud. Yeah, I mean, you get on there and they're just like, it's literally just all these computer terminals just sort of talking, just like talking over each other. I kind of have to cover my ears when I go through there. It's very loud.
Well, I noticed you've been bleeding from the ears a lot recently. Could that be the
Yeah,
case?
I mean, that might be some of the problem with that. Yeah, I kind of have to just almost run through that room to get to my office because it's so loud.
Driving up into the office parking in the garage, going up the elevator, and then you're already hearing it when you're going up the elevator, and then it's at its loudest peak, and the elevator opens, and you just rush to your office, which I assume has been soundproofed at this point.
Yeah. I mean, you can hear it from outside the building. I mean, there's been complaints. There's been complaints from the neighbors of just this rumbling at all hours of voices coming from inside.
So this thing is playing at all hours of the night, just these like noises going on, these like I'm picturing the speaker monster from War of the Worlds. Does that sort of sound like that throughout the city?
It's loud. I'll tell you that. It's just loud. Yeah, it's just a huge rumble of sound and cacophony. And talking about, oh, Catherine, you're doing yoga? That's nice. So, yeah, I try to avoid that room now. But apparently it's more efficient, I guess.
What is it exactly you do at that office? I know you have many offices around the world. What is it you do? I've never asked. What are you doing?
Well, this company, I mean, it focuses on like social media marketing. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Is there like an app connected to that or?
Nah. Yeah.
But I've been using not the chat version of it. I've been using a lot of the AI art because.
How have you been utilizing? Have you been increasing efficiency, I guess,
with this new technology? Yeah, I mean, I'm more of a visual man, so I've been using a lot of the AI art. All hours of the night you'll find me just on my laptop, curled up in my bed, messing around with the AI art, photos and pictures and things I find online and people that I know in real life, and I like to combine and mess around. A lot of people I've met, a lot of women I've met. There's this coffee shop around the corner from me, and there's this really cute girl who works there, and I haven't spoken to her yet. But, through this AI thing that I've been using, I'm able to sort of form a relationship with this girl, find out a little bit more about her visually. So
this...
her name's Natalie. Her name is Natalie.
Yeah.
And I was able to.
This is how you're increasing your efficiency.
Yeah. Well, I do spend a lot of time on it, so that's I'm very efficient in that respect. I'm efficiently, eventually I will find the right photo.
So yeah, when you say efficiency, it means you're sort of taking photos of people that you know in real life and sort of just messing around with those photos and altering them and modifying them to to how you like.
To my specifications. Yeah. Yeah. And I also have this other program on my computer that sort of creates like a 3D world, a lot like Mark Zuckerberg did with Meta, but I kind of have my own thing going on here. I have my VR set up right behind me, as you could see. And
oh wow, you're putting that in VR.
Well, yeah, like Natalie is now at this point. I've gotten her almost completely kind of in a 3D world. So when I have the VRs thing, I'm able to chat with her through there.
So that's really increasing your efficiency, huh? Is you sort of entering this 3D world with
a happy wife is a happy life.
Happy wife. Is that how you describe this random person you saw at a coffee shop a couple times?
Through the VR experience that I've created, I've been able to have engagements with her.
Yeah.
We're now legally, at least through, according to some website that I've checked out, legally, I've been able to marry her through that program.
Are you happy with all that? Like, do you feel like this is a good thing? Like, do you feel like this is going to ultimately bring you happiness, what you're doing?
I think...
Or do you feel like this is a dead end? Do you feel like this is
I don't think in those terms. I don't think I like to live in the present, I don't think in terms of the things that happened. I try not to engage too far into the future. I think I like to live in the present, and right now I feel good. Do
you believe like that there are healthy things you can do and unhealthy things? Like, do you just as a like sort of kind of like a psychological thing? Do you believe that there's healthy psychological things you can do and unhealthy? I mean, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this line of questioning in regards to what you're doing.
I wouldn't be presumptuous to know what that means, Bridge. I'm very happy.
I mean, I feel like you've been down this road, right? You've been down this road in various iterations through the years.
No, this is different.
Do you feel like this is a good move? Do you feel like this has ultimately brought you happiness in life? Is these avatar love affairs, I guess?
Clearly this is different because Natalie, she said yes. So
she said yes.
She said yes, and I didn't tell her what to say.
Yeah.
Well, she nodded. I have a little remote control thing where I can control what her head movements and stuff. But I swear I was not even touching the controller when I asked.
Kind of like, yeah, okay.
It was like a Ouija board, like who's moving the board.
But ultimately, I mean, it's the person moving the board, right? Moving it. I mean, that's how the Ouija board works, right?
I like to think that there's more out there. And I was not touching the controller when I asked if she would marry me.
So this this VR Natalie, she's she interacts with you with the AI and stuff, but ultimately you have a controller that clamps down on any sort of behavior that you don't like.
Yeah, I mean, if there's always that sort of the red button.
Sure.
You have to put that on in case something goes awry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I generally
like a no.
Bridge, I wouldn't know because she didn't say no. We're quite the couple. We've been to Paris. We took a trip.
The no override button. It's quite a great button. It turns no into yes.
She's got a sister, Bridge. If you were looking for, I sort of used a photo of Emma Watson for. Bridge, if you were ever interested in that sort of thing, I bought you a VR. I don't think you opened it.
Oh, great!
I sent it over to you a few months ago. I don't know if you got it in the mail or anything, but I did buy you an AI thing. I know you're into technology, so I figured you'd be interested in playing around.
You've got an Emma Watson sister avatar created You all just hang out.
We hang out. We've been on to trips. We've been to Tuscany. We've driven through Tuscany. We've taken a spaceship up to Saturn. That was fun. Be able to move her around. I'm like, do you want to go to Saturn? And she said yes. We sort of did that through the VR.
Well, she said no. She was frightened about doing that, and then the old no to yes button was pressed.
Sometimes you have to be assertive in a relationship. Men. We could have another conversation about men and what it means to be a man. Oh, I've been looking at those videos a lot recently.
I know. You've been quoting them quite a bit lately.
Well, anyway, we get to travel a lot through this program, And I've never, I've never been to Sydney.
Really traveled.
We went to Sydney. We went to the Opera House.
That's great.
We're planning the wedding through it. There's an app that you could plan weddings through this thing. It's really nice. Bridge, I expect you to be there.
I don't know. I'm pretty busy these days, so I don't know if I have time to strap on a headset with just you, and go to this bleak world that you've constructed inside the VR. This sounds something out of a nightmare.
I've definitely constructed it.
There's no question about that. Seems completely constructed on your part. It sounds like that Twilight Zone episode where it's like the little boy sort of kind of controls everyone around him and like kills them if they ever say no. This sort of sounds like the world you've created in this VR.
Can you blame me? I'm I'm happy.
Well, as long as you're happy, I suppose. Yeah. Well, efficient. That sounds like you're really increasing your efficiency through that.
I wanted to briefly talk about this thing that happened in the news. I don't know if it's going to continue, but there was this interesting talk about Zuckerberg and Musk.
Ooh, Elon.
There was a fight that was set up, and I don't know where we're at with that, but I figured it would be a good thing
either.
to chat about.
It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off.
Yeah. It's like Israel Palestine. It's like, are they fighting? Do they love each other? Do they not love each other? They want to fight? Do they not want to fight? I guess that's not the best metaphor for what this is.
Yeah. No, I think it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty on. I think it's pretty exact.
But Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are putting together, I guess, a jiu-jitsu fighter. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Who would win?
First off, yeah. I mean, if you want me to weigh in on this, I mean, I think Elon's got it. The man is 6'4". I think he's 300 pounds.
You think he's 300 pounds? He's a 50-year-old guy, and Zuckerberg is, I think he might be 40 at this point. So that's something.
Yeah,
obviously,
but 300 pounds, 6'4", you're not going to beat that.
I don't know.
He's too strong.
We've talked about how cool Mark Zuckerberg was.
Mark Zuckerberg is
He's
cool.
He's got the cool factor.
Ooh, Elon's too strong. They called him in high school. I mean, he wrestled in high school.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, they called him the Worm because he could sort of worm his way out of anything. They'd try and grapple him, and he'd just worm his way out.
Slipped right out, huh?
Yeah, give him a wink and worm out. That was his move.
I mean, what do you do if you have a metal arm, right? I mean, at this point, Zuckerberg is mostly steel and metal. Can a worm be grasped by a cyborg?
No. I mean, this is the age-old question: can a metal arm grab a slippery worm? And the answer is no.
The metal arm. Well, what if the metal arm already had the slippery worm in his grasp?
It's too slippery, these worms. They're too slippery. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Audience, you know what I'm talking about. When it comes to slippery worms coming out of metal hands, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know that Elon Musk is a bit more, has more wealth, so that might just be enough to do it. But I don't know. Yeah. I think Zuckerberg, the guy knows how to put his talons on the right people.
The problem with Zuckerberg, though, and I've talked about how cool Mark Zuckerberg is. Lately, he's made some comments. He's made comments about woke culture, and that makes him soft.
He's made comments about woke culture.
Yeah, I think he made. This is totally unverified, right. But I think he supported cancel culture or something.
He supported cancel culture.
I heard it through the Vine. I think he said he went on something and it was like, yeah, I love cancel. He like went on an interview and was like, I love cancel culture. I like canceling people. That's what I like to do. And so that makes you immediately
bad at fighting.
Yeah. So we'll see. If the comments are true, then yeah, he's in for a big loss.
I mean, I think that's more of a preference thing and not an ability to handle yourself in a mixed martial arts match.
I don't know about that. I think it legitimately makes you more weak. Whereas Elon's doubled down. I mean, he's been saying stuff on his Twitter, and that makes you stronger.
Right. He's been doubling down on the like anti-woke culture stuff. I know he's
anti-woke culture, anti-environment. I mean, he was like supporting like let's just kill these pandas. Let's kill them all.
Let's finish them off.
Get it over with. Kill the pandas. And that, I mean, that's, I don't necessarily support it, but I like how he says it, so
so you don't support the killing of pandas?
I do now because he said it so abrasively,
Well, there is another snake show going on next month, and there will be panda.
Got a lot of snake shows got coming up.
They do once every 2 months. They have a snake show. I'm gonna
bringing your girlfriend to the snake show.
Anyway,
I think we've learned a lot about efficiency.
What I wanted to ask you because I mentioned the Zuckerberg Elon Musk fight. If you were to fight anybody in history, who would you want to fight?
Right, Joan of Arc.
You'd fight Joan of Arc.
Really? Yeah. I'd teach her a lesson. She sounded like a pain in the ass. I think somebody needed to. Yeah.
I thought
she's this 14-year-old
French girl.
Yeah, just probably 5'1".
Just push her into the dirt.
Just me towering over her. What about you?
I think Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter.
I didn't like him.
Why didn't you like Jimmy Carter?
Oh, with the whole carpentry thing. Oh, I'm just a regular guy kind of thing. He was the worst president of all time. So glad to have Reagan after him to like fix everything and make things better for the future. Once Reagan came in, Jimmy Carter was out, Reagan was in, then America really soared.
Then he cleaned house. Yeah, Jimmy Carter really, I didn't like that he built all those houses, yeah.
Who does he think he
shouldn't have done that. That was a big mistake.
I also am deathly allergic to peanuts. And the guy is a peanut farmer.
He loves peanuts. Him and his brother. They would just sit around eating peanuts in the White House.
To this day, there's probably peanuts just laying on the floor of the White House because they can't get
just getting fat off peanuts.
They haven't replaced the carpet since the 70s.
Yeah, fat Jimmy Carter just engorging himself on peanuts all day. And like, Mr. President, you need to sign a bill. He's like, no, excuse me, get out. I'm eating peanuts with my brother.
Get out.
Truly a disgusting and dark period of our country. Yeah.
Well, this was a great episode of Business Money Hacks. I know that we haven't recorded in a bit, but I've been busy. Bridget's been busy.
I'm so busy.
I got a lot of time on my hands, so
I have zero time.
At this point, the money's just coming in. I don't really know where it's coming from, but my bank account is getting larger and larger by the day.
Yeah.
Do you have that? Is that something that you're dealing with? Because I don't really know what I'm doing.
This is an important lesson to the audience. Like, if you make enough money, you pass a certain threshold, your bank account just keeps like exploding like every day, and you just get more and more money. And I'm not sure exactly how anymore. It seems magical.
Like, I check it this morning and I'm like, oh, this has gotten exponentially larger, and I've just been sitting around
doing nothing.
And
honestly, sometimes actively like sabotaging some of the businesses that I'm involved in, and still I'm just getting richer. I don't know how it works.
Let's chat again. Maybe we could talk about that, but maybe it's best we don't.
I think so. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Bridge Stewart.
And my name is Dustin Taylor Hahn. Thank you so much.